The purpose of life is to experience the greatest pleasure possible. And what is the greatest pleasure possible? It's gratitude. It's enjoying this world in gratitude. That's what nobody ever explained to me.
Welcome to the Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast, the podcast for high achievers who want to stay sharp, focused, and full of energy despite their diagnosis. With your host, National Board Certified Functional Medicine Health Coach, Julie Michelson, where Julie helps you take your power back from autoimmunity. And now here's your host, Julie Michelson.
Welcome back to the Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast. I'm your host, Julie Michelson. And today we're joined by Bracha Goetz, a Harvard-educated author of 42 books that help children shine, as well as her candid memoir for adults about her empowering journey to joy called Nourish the Soul, Filling the Emptiness Within. In today's conversation, we're talking about the ancient yet timeless framework of the pleasure ladder and how gratitude and joy are the secret ingredients in healing. Bracha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here with you.
I am so excited for this interview, and I'm going to try to contain myself. I would love for you to share a little bit about your journey. I just find your story really inspirational and fascinating. And like I mentioned before we hit record, people were like, she's this prolific children's author. Why do you want to, why is she on the Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast? So tell us about your travels as far as, especially, I'm thinking mostly like college, what the things that you went through that helped you realize that people really need help with joy and purpose.
Exactly. It began around age 12. I started being kind of obsessed with what is the purpose of life. I think as my body changed, I became an adolescent. Suddenly I got this consciousness about what are we here for? What do we do? I had just finished reading the Diary of Anne Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I started my own diary, and actually that became my memoir. And
Yes.
So all these diary entries, it's in my memoir, Nourish the Soul. You could see I'm searching and searching, beginning at that age, and I searched so many different places, like different religions, environmentalism, social action, experimenting with all kinds of things. I also, at a certain point, started studying like everything. I wanted to learn about wisdom, like the best wisdom. So I started doing well in school at a certain point in high school because, again, I just wanted to know what life was all about. And so I ended up getting into Harvard. My parents were like, this didn't like fit with with what they were thinking. I don't know. It just wasn't what they wanted me to go to, like the local college. It was like
liberal
but
arts,
yeah. Yeah. But I wanted, like, I need the ultimate wisdom. Maybe I'll find it there. So I did enjoy myself going there. I went to Harvard. After Harvard, I went to medical school. Um, Again, I was searching for this mind-body connection and understanding of what makes life worthwhile. What's our purpose here? And the interesting thing is that even though I looked successful on the outside, this yearning was very deep inside of me, and I was actually getting sicker and sicker as the years went by. In this desperate search, I developed eating disordered behavior. I call them food addictions.
Mhm.
Um, and it developed a lot at Harvard, where of course, I became the expert on eating disordered behavior, and I'm writing papers on this,
Uh-huh. And
giving
living,
talks.
secretly living it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the time I got to medical school, my behaviors were so bizarre, and I kept it all hidden.
Mhm.
When people have addictions, they put a ton of effort into covering it up and hiding
Sure.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So nobody knew how I was suffering. Again, I looked successful, but inside I wasn't. And the emptiness was getting bigger and bigger. So no binge could
Yeah.
ever fill that emptiness.
Sure.
And then, and then afterwards, I would do very restrictive eating to make up for the
Binging.
uncontrollable binges, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was fluctuating between these two. It was a horrible life. I felt like I was in a prison. The prison, the prison got narrower and narrower as the addiction took over my life, my energy, my brain, my emotions. It just took over. So life became really unbearable. And that's hard to believe. Here I was, this Harvard graduate in medical school. Everything looks great, but it
On
wasn't.
paper. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I heard you once share a story about a garden party you attended, right? Because I do think, and it's either human nature or society, we make up this idea of what we think, oh, happiness, it must be, financial success or academic success or, fill in the blanks. Like we always have this tendency to look at something and put it on a pedestal and be like, oh, they've got it. They've got the secret. Not so.
Exactly. I felt, oh, if I run away from my background, like I could be like all these famous people here that I met at Harvard,
Yeah.
so like the story of the garden party is that I was invited to this exclusive party, but mainly because of my boyfriend. And it was like the children of the Kennedys, Moynihans, Rockefellers, all these,
Yeah.
and
I call it old money because I grew up
yeah,
in that area.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it. I've made it to the top, at this party here. One of the funny things that happened, I'm looking at everybody. They look just like you or me. They
People.
look like exactly same. And they're drinking and looking beyond who they're talking to for something more, just like us. Like they
Yeah.
all want more. This is not making it. But the crazy thing that happened at that party is that it was this beautiful day in May, and all of a sudden the storm clouds filled up the sky, and down came a huge thunderstorm.
Yep.
The whole party was ruined. And I'm thinking, there's something bigger than this. This is not it.
Right.
I feel like I reached the top of the mountain and there's nothing much up here, nothing different now that I can see up here. And and they couldn't even stop the rain from coming down on this garden party. These powerful people can't control the rain. There's something greater, there's something more, but I still don't know what it is. I've reached what I thought was like an illusion, a mirage of
Yeah.
success,
Hmm.
fame, fortune, power. It doesn't bring happiness. I saw it right in front of my eyes. So what does? That's why my search continued in an even more desperate way to find out what really brings happiness. And I finally did find the answer. It was the summer after my first year in medical school. I had a 6 week break and I went to Israel. I ended up, I ended up learning about the spirituality in my own heritage, which I did not grow up with, I didn't know about. Like, I was culturally Jewish and I was Jewish, but I didn't,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know about, I knew about spirituality and like Buddhism and Christian Science, other things I'd studied, but not in my own
You weren't
backyard.
studying the mystics as a child.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So I learned, and the deepest thing that I learned, it was from a rabbi, he's no longer alive, um, Rabbi Noah Weinberg. He taught about the pleasure ladder. And and what I learned, and I think this is the basis, it's universal. It's for
sure. This is not
all
like a religious at
ex,
all.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Is that the purpose of life is to experience the greatest pleasure possible. And what is the greatest pleasure possible? It's gratitude.
Mhm.
It's enjoying this world in gratitude. That's what nobody ever explained to me.
Yeah.
So the same life that I was denigrating as like this all seems meaningless. If you add in that one ingredient of
Game
gratitude,
changer. Yeah.
it, it changes the whole picture. It's when my life changed from the world had begun to turn gray.
Mhm.
Everything just seemed the
Meh.
same to
Yeah.
me, right?
Blah.
Then the colors came back. It was like gratitude brought the colors back,
Love that
and the
visual.
world became, yeah, vivid
Yeah.
and beautiful again.
Ah, so
Yeah.
amazing. And so was this like the beginning of the experience that how did you shift from medical school to, oh my gosh, we need to teach children this? Like how did that come about?
That's a great question. Yeah. Well, first I took a year's leave of absence. I was thinking of transferring to Tel Aviv University Medical School. Then I said, no, I'm on a new path. I knew about mind, body, and spirit. Well, spirit was what was missing. I
Yes.
want to get the full picture. I want to immerse myself in learning and gathering a spiritual understanding. So I stayed in Israel. A few months later, I was studying, and a few months later, I met who was to become my husband.
Hmm.
And he was on a similar path. He'd also graduated from college. He was an urban planner, and he was looking for more meaning and spirituality in his life. We met there. We ended up getting married, starting our family there. And when I began to have children, I was one day sitting outside with my little children,
Hmm.
and I brought my notebook as they were playing quietly. So I started to write a story. I wrote it on loose leaf paper.
Nice.
I stuck it in an envelope and mailed it to America. And 6 weeks later, I got back an acceptance. So, whoa, I can write children's books.
Mhm.
And I was writing the books that I wished I had as a child. I began to write the books that I could explain to really young children how to live a life of gratitude in so many different ways. So that's what I'm teaching. So children can have happiness skills as early in life as possible.
Yes.
And they don't have to play catch up. But it's okay to play catch up too,
Sure.
because we have neuroplasticity. We can change our brains. We can rewire our brains at any point in life to become more grateful people.
So well said. And I was thinking of one of the intake forms we use at the clinic, and even just in functional medicine in general, spirituality is part of wellness.
Yeah,
And it may mean something different to somebody else. Again, it's not about, what religion or what it
right.
does, but when there's that void of, that's, it's one of the wellness pillars, and you can't make up for it by eating the right things or,
Exactly.
yeah.
And an addiction is when we try desperately to fill that hole
Yeah.
with externalities, no
Hmm.
matter which addiction it
Any
is.
pick one. Yeah.
Exactly. And the hole gets deeper and deeper. We finish the whole bag of potato chips. We clear out the whole container of ice cream
Hmm.
and we feel emptier than the container, emptier
Sure.
than we were before.
Yeah. Ah. So I want to talk about the pleasure ladder. That's it. Just you're reminding me of like my first like ventures into reading some of the work of the mystics, and I love the idea of a ladder, but share with us the pleasure ladder and kind of just the rungs and the elevation, and that connection with gratitude.
Thank you so much. Thank you for resonating so deeply. I love it. I people this is like a basic chart of the pleasure ladder, but people can download it with the information from my website if they want. It's meant to be free, but somebody hacked into the site and is constantly downloading it. So now we had to charge $1 to stop all that from happening. I
Gotcha.
don't know. So so anyway, but this is it. The 5 levels of the pleasure ladder, they correspond to our 5 fingers. It's right here in our hands.
Mm,
We have the power at any moment to bring gratitude and joy into our lives. That's just amazing. So these 5 levels, they correspond to the 5 levels of the human soul. And the lowest level of the human soul is the part that's attached to our body.
mhm.
This level of the soul, it gets energized by all the natural sensual pleasures in this world.
Yes.
So it's healthy food, it's being in nature, it's exercising, doing exercise we love, dance, yoga, gardening, swimming, whatever we love to do, music. All of these things were designed to bring us pleasure.
Mm,
When we experience them with gratitude, they fill us up. That's the missing piece.
yes.
If we just eat the stuff and we're not experiencing that gratitude, we don't get that full satisfaction and joy. That's the gratitude is what changes it. I love to give the example of an orange. This is my, it's just so awesome because an orange, like the fruit is green when before it's ready for us. It's camouflaged by the leaves. It's being protected until it's ready. Once it's ready for us, it becomes this beautiful, the most vivid color, and it's calling to us. We're ready. That's how it calls to us with the color. So it's a joy to look at, and it smells beautiful. It's
Mhm.
a joy to smell. And then when we see they're individually packaged, the fruit, yeah,
Yeah.
and they even have oranges are special because they have this seal on them that you take off the peel and it keeps the sweet juiciness in for months. It's amazing. So after you experience it, you're left with the seeds. The seeds are like seeds of infinity. If they go into the ground where they're meant to grow, they become more trees, more orange trees, more oranges, infinite amounts from one little orange. So we can see this is just one tiny gift in our
Yep.
world, one
Yeah.
tiny natural gift. And we have such an abundance of gifts. And why do we overeat or engage in other addictions? Because we feel a scarcity of pleasure in our lives. So why not just keep stuffing your face? Because then every moment you'll be experiencing pleasure, you know. But here's the
Till you
thing.
stop.
Exactly, exactly. So this is what changes it, the gratitude. When you have appreciation for the gifts, when you start to open your eyes and see the
Yeah.
abundance, then there's no longer a need for the addiction. That's what happened to me. It just gradually went
Yeah.
away as I saw, or even if I get the urge to overeat, it'll come to my mind, is it your body that's hungry or your soul?
Yeah.
And I'll think of all the many other ways that this chart will remind me that I could bring pleasure into my life. So the second level up is love. And that's funny because, like I said, this is totally empowering. How could love be empowering? Because it's dependent on someone else. So
Kind of.
yeah, that's it. You're right. The ancient mystical definition of love is what you appreciate about another. It's when you focus on the virtues of another. So we can bring that kind of love into our lives at any moment, focusing on what you appreciate about another being. It could be a pet,
Sure.
a person, like even in prison, a person could focus on like what a grandmother did for them years ago,
Sure.
and they're filled with this warm emotional feeling, and they're inspired like
Yeah.
right at that moment. So this is really important when a person is feeling lonely,
Hmm.
to realize um, that we can always bring love into our lives. Because just 1 minute,
Uh-huh.
we we when we are in addiction or feeling anxious or depressed, it's because we feel disconnected, we
Yeah.
feel cut off.
Hmm.
We're in a self-centered kind of place. How do we get out of that? By bringing in connection,
Yeah.
and gratitude is what brings connection. Then when we experience gratitude, we realize that we are being cared for.
Mm.
We actually begin to savor that compassion, the loving compassion that we may not have realized we are receiving. It opens us to recognize that. So going up the ladder, the middle level is meaning.
Hmm.
It's whenever we do something good and meaningful. And I was on another show. When I got to this level, the host said that he was feeling miserable the day before, and he brought a whole pizza pie, and he finished 2 slices, and he's about to plow through the whole box by himself. And a knock at the door. His neighbor needs his help for 2 minutes. Maybe it was to move furniture or something. And
Yeah.
when he comes back in, he doesn't want the pizza anymore.
Yeah. It was never about the pizza.
Exactly. It it's about pleasure. It's about lasting pleasure. It's about nourishing our genuinely hungry souls with
Mm.
what we need, and that's gratitude. So that's how it works. He could put the pizza in the fridge for another day. He didn't need that anymore. He filled up. He was able to give to another, and that fills
Yeah.
you up with gratitude.
Hmm.
So, like we hear, how can I get over like when I'm feeling depressed or whatever? We hear do exercise, eat healthy, listen to music, volunteer. But now you understand why these things work,
Right.
because it's a spiritual hole. It's not a physical hole. So that's the only thing that fills it up. So the two highest levels, the next to the highest is creativity. That's a surprising one too. It's it's when we put a unique part of ourselves into the world. Every person is here because they're needed in this world, or they wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
We each have a purpose for being here, and it's when we put our unique hue, our unique color, our unique light into the world. When we're doing that, we don't feel like eating or sleeping when we're involved in a creative activity, and we're beyond time. It like we're not aware of time passing when we're in that zone
Yeah. Flow.
of flow.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's that high. And the highest state is called transcendence. We transcend all the limitations, like we transcend the separations. We recognize we are all connected. We are all connected to the same source energy, and we're all connected to each other. The trees are giving us, we're giving to the tree. It's like we're all in really a symbiotic relationship. It's those veils of separation just rise. Like if you've been under a starry sky at night in the country and you know you're a part of the greater universe, it never leaves you, that feeling, and you can go back to it. It's the rarest feeling that you can experience with gratitude, but it's there for all of us. Every level is for all of us. And there's only one price to pay to climb any rung on the ladder, and that's gratitude.
Gratitude. Yeah.
That's that's it.
It's so amazing. And one of the things I tend to pretty early on, like immediately in coaching a new client, is working on gratitude. And it is so interesting. People get so defensive. And I even preface it with like, as an exercise, like, oh, but I am a grateful person. And I'm like, I never said you weren't grateful. That's not it. But we can exercise that muscle, and it brings more and more. It's really awareness, right? You take somebody who already is a grateful person and then intentionally live in gratitude. And like you were saying, it reminds with the orange, right? Like then it's everything you see. You're noticing and bringing more awareness to all of the things we have to be grateful for, which can lead to the connection but it doesn't mean, I'm guessing, I could be wrong. Are you always in gratitude every moment of every day?
I'll say for sure not, but but I'm definitely more grateful than I used to be.
Oh yeah,
I spend much more of my
it
time in a
feels
grateful.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. It the more, like you said, when the neurons that fire together wire together, and they create more neural pathways, so it becomes easier and easier to be grateful the more we practice it.
yeah. And where attention goes, energy flows. And so
Exactly.
let's focus on those things, the positives, the joy, the gratitude. I want to commend your definition of creativity, or the way you explain creativity, because I used to be one of those people that thought like creative people were artists, right? Musicians, artists, like it was this little box. And I remember making a comment probably 15 plus years ago. And luckily it was to a friend who like immediately correct. She was like, you've designed houses. There's so many different ways to be creative, and like the idea of just shining your unique light. It doesn't have to be able to be put in a gallery or a theater to be creativity. So thank
Exactly.
you for really, I think, breaking down that barrier of where people may think like, oh, that applies to other people, but not me.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody has a creative way to them. Exactly. And it this also takes the ego out of the creativity, because you're just a channel for that flow of energy.
Right. Like, who are you to say, like, the mark was missed with you? What?
E- e-
That's not a thing.
Exactly. It takes away the fear of failure. It
Hmm.
takes away the the writer's block, all those things that people may have. Don't worry about it. Just be grateful for whatever ideas come to flow through you. You're just a channel. We're just channeling this amazing energy that is being recycled throughout the universe all the time. We get to be channels. So just be open to it with gratitude for any opportunity you have to bring a unique aspect of you into the world. And like you saying, whatever it is, the way you smile, the way you tell a story, the way you cook this dish, the way you can struggle to find a positive aspect to something. It's totally infinite. And it's really training the brain to scan for positive patterns. That's what we're training the brain to do. So it's totally a joy, because any moment that you spend being grateful is a moment that you're not being miserable. You can't be miserable and grateful in the same moment.
Yeah.
So just we just keep adding those moments. We're just adding pearls to our necklace. And how does a pearl form? A pearl forms from an irritation,
Right. Yeah.
and it becomes something beautiful that we all have that potential
Mm-hmm.
from our pain to be able to make it into something beautiful in this world, something that somebody else can benefit from. Whatever
Yeah.
pains we were destined to have, whatever challenges come our way in life,
Yeah.
we can use them in ways to shine light.
So beautifully put. I was literally, when you were talking about the pearl, thinking, I mean, this is our audience, right? These are people with
Yeah.
physical and health challenges.
Yes.
And if somebody had said to me 20 years ago, oh, this will be your gift, I might
Yes.
not have been able to see it in the moment.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and the gratitude is, I say that to clients all the time. If it's a really bad day, and you can pick up the pen to write a gratitude. Start
Yes.
there. What
Yeah.
is working? What is the positive thing? And
Yes.
then you become, the annoying people who see the light and the bright everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, right. We don't have to overdo it and be obnoxious
Right.
about it. No, no, right, right. We can do it in a quiet way, and people will sense the
Yeah.
added peacefulness from you.
It's the
Yes,
energy
yes,
exchange. You don't
yes,
even have to, speak words to somebody to brighten
right.
their day when you're in
Beautiful.
that place.
Yes,
Yeah, and so I just love that the idea, your purpose of teaching this to children through books. It's not, they don't have to sit in a classroom, to, like you said, so that they don't. And yes, we can all learn it. It's my same joy working with mothers, or parents, right, and changing healthy lifestyle for a
yes,
family. Is the same goal, is that then the kids aren't going to end up needing an autoimmune coach when they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, right? Because they're so that's, to me, the ripple effect, and you're going just kind of straight to the source, which
exactly.
is such a beautiful gift. I wish I had your books when I was raising my children, but my
Oh,
grandchildren will have them one day when I
oh,
have them.
God willing. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. And I
So,
do. I also write about being healthy because I think that's
well,
so much
they're
a part
sure.
of we can shine our souls more fully when we feel healthier. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
That when
our mission statement at the clinic is, and that's
yes,
the whole point, is we can show up better
yes,
when we're well
yes,
and make the world a better place that way. And
yes,
so, but you can't eat your way out of the void.
yes,
Or, and I mean, like, eat the good food or exercise,
yes,
whatever it is, all the healthy things, following that rule book without this piece is really, I won't say you can't heal, but the healing is exponential
exactly.
when we have the spiritual piece, the pleasure, and it doesn't mean you don't have to go to Israel. You don't. I always say, even like with meditation, you don't have to go sit in a cave. Like, you
Right.
can just do small bites.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They actually said what you the the science research says that in this highest state, in the state of awe and wonder,
Mhm.
we create the most health health
Yeah.
like
The chemicals and
the chemicals that help
yeah,
us to be
yeah.
healthy. Exactly.
Absolutely. I
Right.
mean, I know
Right.
we have, I guess, thank goodness, we don't have awareness of all of the things going on in our body all of the times, but
Right.
how, yes, your thoughts and your feelings, and that's why, joy is so healing. That's, you think of even like oxytocin, you can hug somebody, right?
Yeah.
But when you think of like, okay, really, oxytocin's released when a mother's nursing a baby, and it's to help the mother bond with the baby. Like all of this is in there by design. Like we have
Exactly.
all of the healing that we need. We just either we're being exposed to something that's harming or
Right.
we're missing something
Right.
that we need.
Exactly. Right. The more we get back to enjoying this amazing garden, the better,
Yes.
because we've made things very complicated,
Right.
and
Well,
it's
and I
yeah,
do think that's why it takes in modern time, it takes effort and
right.
intention
Right.
because our lives are set up so differently than we were created to live them initially.
Beautiful. Beautifully expressed. Exactly.
Wow. So, well, I'm going to ask you, like, where do you have a tip for like where does somebody start if they're like, holy cow, she is talking to me. I'm in, the void. I'm isolated. I mean, even just my physical decline became isolating, right? And
Right.
and
Right.
so whatever it is that the listeners might be dealing with, if they're like, oh, you know what, I can up level here. Or I never thought about it, right? I've been moving right and eating right and detoxifying and but I just wasn't even addressing this piece.
Right.
Where can people start?
Right. When you get started, when you make an attempt to be more grateful for things than you were before, it feels like you're on this gravelly road. It feels weird and awkward. But when you go on a road that hasn't been traveled on much, you create the grooves, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
it gets easier and
Back to
easier.
those neural
Exactly.
pathways.
You start with an orange. You start with
Uh-huh.
things that you've just been taking for granted all the time. You start with, how many illnesses don't I have? How many
Right.
parts of my body are
Are
not
working.
hurting, are working? Exactly. You begin to look at them again with new eyes. You practice this as many times a day as you want because there's nothing to lose. All you get is those extra moments of joy.
Mm.
So
How could
it's
that be bad?
exactly, exactly. And let's say you have a problem with overeating. You can ask yourself these simple questions like, okay, if I have 95 more spoonfuls of this ice cream, will I then feel full? Because you won't. You won't feel
Right.
any more full than you've experienced it. You don't have to eat the entire thing. That's mind changing. Recognizing that yes, you're feeling a scarcity of pleasure in your life right now. That's what you're feeling. That's why you want to keep overeating because you're feeling a scarcity of pleasure. It's not that you need this particular junk food.
Right.
So, what else could bring me pleasure?
Mm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And you think about this and you start thinking, should I open the window, feel the breeze, go outside, experience some nature, feel the sunshine on my face,
Yeah.
turn on some music, just start dancing around a little. It changes in that instant.
Yeah.
You
Like
can
that.
fill up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Such amazing advice. And I feel like I kind of cheated because I just asked you for a thing. And that could be your one thing. But listeners lean in, they know. I'm like, okay, that one step, and you did just give us. So more gratitude could be the one step. But any other wisdom you want to share with listeners?
There was a great story I love that there was a man up on a building ready to jump. And the lady across the way, she sees him and she says, "Don't jump, whatever you do." And he says, "Why not? I have no reason to keep living." And she says, "Okay, wait a minute. You, what if, what if you were blind your whole life and now you were given the gift of sight? Would you still jump?" He says, "No, of course not." Well, she says, here's the gift of sight. Look again. You have hands. You have a body that got you up to the roof. You can see, you can hear. You have so many things to be thankful for. Open your eyes and see it. You don't have to be blind anymore. That's all of us. We go through this every single day, many times a day. One of my books is called Don't Read This Book. It teaches children. Yeah, it teaches children that all day long there's a voice in your head trying to get you to be miserable. How does it do that? It tells you to focus on what you're missing, what you're lacking.
Mhm.
As soon as we become aware that's what we're doing and we realize everybody else has the same exact problem, then we can refocus on what we already have. This voice in our heads, I discover at the end of the book, is also a gift to
Mhm.
us because, like you said, it's to grow our gratitude muscles. It's pushing on us. And when we push it away and we say, I'm not going to focus on what I'm missing, I'm going to focus on what I already have. What do we grow? Like you said, our gratitude muscles. That's how we grow them. So become aware that voice is going to be always there trying to
Yes.
pull you down all day. Recognize it, investigate it, and then you'll realize, oh, instead I'm going to focus on what I already have. So many blessings in my life that I wasn't opening my eyes to.
Oh, so amazing. See, I knew I had to ask for one more thing. Oh, Bracha, where's the best for people that aren't going to check the show notes? Where's the best place for people to find you?
Okay, my children have created a beautiful website with all my books, and it's called Growing Impact Publications because our impact is growing. First, I was just writing Jewish books, and now they're universal books, and it's for everybody to learn just all these amazing ideas about let's stay healthy, how to stay healthy, even swimming safely, all kinds of things about living a more grateful life. Oh, and the happiness box. That's really, it teaches
Ooh,
how to have gratitude skills for very young children all the way through to any age that a person is. It's really a classic book that was
amazing.
before only available Jewish, and now it's for everybody. The happiness
I love
box.
it because she now wants
Yeah,
to reach more people and more
yeah,
people. And I was thinking about that, just bringing me back to when I would read with my kids and the books I would choose for my kids and the ones that always taught me so much, as it's for the kids, right? So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
what a gift sharing your light with the world and we so appreciate your time and your wisdom and the way that you share it with everybody. And really, listeners, like take some action because there's nothing that is more healing than gratitude. So really
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Thank you, Julie. I just got to say one more thing.
Yeah,
What's the difference between a miserable life and a happy life? How
gratitude.
grateful you are. That's it. That's it. The same
Woohoo!
life, completely changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll remember the story of the man on the roof, right? Because we
Oh,
sometimes it sometimes we find gratitude a little easier when something's been missing and then
right,
comes back or
right.
comes in, and we
Yes.
all have so very much to be grateful for. And I am grateful for your time and your wisdom.
Thank you, wonderful Julie. Thank you. Thank you.
For everyone listening, remember you can get the show notes and transcripts by visiting inspiredliving.show. Hope you had a great time and enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Julie Michelson's Inspired Living with Autoimmunity. Did you enjoy this episode? Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to get a transcript of this and every other episode, just head on over to inspiredliving.show or click on the link in this episode's description. There, you can also find everything we discussed in this episode, including links and information about our guest. You can even send in your questions to be answered by Julie in a future episode. That's inspiredliving.show. Until next time, this is Julie Michelson's Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast, helping you take your power back.